Hi friends, I'm going to share with you today a really quick and easy eyeshadow look, and I'm going to add in a tip that's going to really help when you come to blending your eyeshadow. Now if all this sounds too scary and you think, oh gosh, I haven't worn eyeshadow in years, stay tuned because I'm going to make eyeshadow really easy. It's going to look really natural. It's just going to look like your eyes, only just a little bit more contoured and lifted. You ready? Let's get started. If you've not worn eyeshadow in a long time, then I'm going to share with you a really quick and easy way to find an eyeshadow that not only will look like it's part of your natural eye shade, if that makes sense, but it will also be really easy to apply. And the reason this is because if you can choose a shade that's fairly neutral to your skin tone, so look at your skin tone and then imagine it to be quite a few shades darker, that's the tone you want to go for. So for me, I'm going to be wearing today this taupey shade because you can see it's quite a few shades darker than my natural skin tone, and what this will do is it will look like a natural shade of contour in my eye socket. The next tip that makes eyeshadow application really easy is a fluffy eyeshadow brush such as this one here. And the reason you want to find a fluffy eyeshadow brush is because it makes the eyeshadow go on fairly lightly, so it means it doesn't pick up too much at once and then you've got a big splodge of eyeshadow to kind of like think, oh, what do I do with that? What it does do is it delicately places the eyeshadow in a really soft, diffused way that I think makes the eye look really kind of soft and smoky. So with your brush, you're going to tap it in your chosen eyeshadow shade. So make sure the whole of the brush is covered in the eyeshadow. Then what you're going to do is tap off the excess, because, can you see it coming off there? You want to apply a light covering first and then build up the intensity, because it's better to do that than apply too much and suddenly panic and think, oh, too much on my eye. Let me get my mirror and I'm going to show you how to apply your eyeshadow in a really easy way. I am going to place this brush into my socket. Now, your eye socket is between your eyeball and your eye bone, and you can feel it with your finger here, and you feel a kind of, it's the ridge in between your eyeball and your eyebrow bone here. Now you want to put your brush in the center of your socket, and then you're going to go like a windscreen wiper from side to side. But start off in the middle, because if you start here, the only way you can go is kind of inwards. So start here, and that way you'll apply most of the colour in the middle, which makes it easier to blend back and forth. Let me show you. And the lighter you hold the brush, the easier applying eyeshadow is. Now, this is giving me a really beautiful natural look. What I do want to do is add a bit more intensity to the colour. So I'm going to layer up some more shadow on my brush again. I'm going to tap off excess, and I'm going to repeat that one more time. Now, if you want to intensify the lift of your eye, then you're going to take a little bit more shadow, tap off, and this time you're going to place the brush slightly above the socket and do the same again. Now I want to be sure that I'm not applying any shadow onto my brow bone here, because I want to keep that free of shadow, because if that's free of shadow, my eye will look kind of lighter and more lifted at the brow bone, and the depth of colour will be in the socket, and it will kind of diffuse upwards and outwards. Now I've applied quite a bit of eyeshadow here, so you can see what I'm going to do next, because I wanted to replicate what you might do at home. For example, you might have applied too much shadow and then think, oh gosh, too much, what do I do? Very, very easy. You simply need the same brush. Don't need lots of fancy brushes for this. What you do need is either a towel or an old flannel, which is clean and dry, or even better, a microfiber cloth, such as this one. You might have one in your cupboard somewhere. You're going to take your brush and you're going to blend. Now, the important thing with blending is to use your cloth to clean off your brush before you blend, because the mistake that many of us do is we start blending with the excess product on the brush, and all that does is smudge more eyeshadow around the eye area. So I'll get my microfiber cloth and I'm just going to circle the brush into the microfiber cloth. And if you have this handy, what it means, it saves you a fortune on having to buy loads of different makeup brushes just to blend. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the socket, and now what I'm going to do to blend is I'm going to do circular, soft circular motions backwards and forwards. And what this is going to do, it's just going to soften the colour. And as you're blending, just repeat the process. So as you've picked up and removed some of the shadow, keep wiping it off on the microfiber cloth, because the more you pick up on the shadow, all you're doing is kind of like smudging it around. So if you've applied too much and you want to take more off, then just re-clean the brush and repeat that process. So just delicately do little circular soft blending motions like this. Any shadow fallout that you have, you can take a Q-tip and just wipe away. And if you find that you've taken your shadow past the tail of your brow, that could make your eye look a little bit sad. So just clean up at the ends there as well. I am going to, with the leftovers on my brush, I'm going to squeeze this brush to a fine kind of line there. Then I'm going to take this and gently going to run it along the bottom of my lash line. What this will do is just add a subtle little bit of depth along my lower lash line. Now you will see how just a little bit of eyeshadow can just make a touch of difference to how your eye looks. But stay tuned, because I've got another tip for you that can really help lift the arch of your brow here. What I'm going to do next is I want to further intensify the lift of this brow here, and to do that I'm going to use a really cool little pencil, and this is called a clarifying pencil. If you don't have something like this at home, you could do the same with a lighter coloured concealer. A pencil makes it really easy. So I'm going to hold my mirror and I'm just going to draw a line from just before the arch along to the end of the tail of the brow, just like that. Then I'm going to get my pinky finger and I'm just going to smudge that line. So it doesn't look like a line, it just looks like under my brow is slightly more lighter than the rest of the skin. I'm going to intensify it just a little bit more so you can see it on camera. And actually what I've done is I've taken it slightly nearer to the start of my brow. But that's the great thing about this. You can play with it, you can see what you want to do. If you make a mistake, you can just blend it out. If you want it to look even more defined, you can simply keep adding on layers to really intensify that lift. What this does is it kind of creates the effect that you've got several shades of eyeshadow on your eye. Not in an overly obvious way, but it looks like, oh, a colour there, a colour in the socket, and then it goes to ombre, and then it goes to this lovely kind of highlighter shade there. But actually all you've done is applied one shade, blended it, diffused it, and then added a little highlight here. Another thing you can do with this clarifying pencil is you can apply it to the lower waterline just to really brighten the eye. And what this does, if you're tired, it just gives you a bit of a wide awake lift without having to wear lots of concealer. And then I'm just going to apply this around the tear duct area here. And hopefully you can see the difference between this eye and this eye with just a little bit of shadow and a clarifying pencil. If you want to find out more about what I've used in this video, then you can visit Beauty in the Boutique, where I put everything there. And I shall see you soon in another video. Bye.